Hi everyone, welcome to our new SAP Tech Talk. We will record the session and then post it on our YouTube channel. You can ask all the questions in the Q&A field. Our speakers today are Daria Petrushkova and Leonid Krutko. And what they're going to talk about is from lease to sublease, navigating complex deals with SAP RE-FX. Colleagues, you have our undivided attention.
Thank you, Ilona. So hello, everyone. My name is Daria, and I'm a SAP Finance Team Lead here at EPAM. I have more than 15-year experience of working with various SAP products, and my expertise mostly relevant to general financial topics, flexible real estate, and treasury. I have experience of implementation IFRS 16 with SAP Flexible Real Estate Solution. And today with me, my colleague Leonid Krutko. He is also lead functional consultant here at EPAM. His main area of expertise is related to general finance and real estate. I would say even more that he is our real estate expert in the company. And he is also worked with me for the implementation of several projects for IFRS 16 and US GAAP implementation. These standards here. So that's why we are here. Let's quickly set our expectation about what we are going to introduce today. So we have a use case, as Ilona already mentioned, is related to leasing and the subleasing processes, but we are not going to show anything that is related to technical part and configuration. Today, we will mostly focus on the business flow, on the process flow, and how all the steps looks like in the system. So first of all, we will start with a short introduction about what is a real estate functionality at all in general, what we know and or what we need to know about lease accounting standards just to support our future demo examples that we will show you how to work with such scenario in the system. Then we will just see the main points that we would like to highlight as a result of our today's demo, and there will be some sections for your questions and our answers if there are any questions. So let's start. First of all, real estate management. What is it? So this is a kind of not a new solution in the SAP family, because it was created quite long ago and was mostly relevant to the customers from specific industries like construction or commercial real estate. But nowadays, this functionality became more popular. It's just because the implementation and introduction of new lease standards in 2019. And the SAP significantly reworked and developed this functionality to be able to cover the requirements of the new lease standards. And nowadays, companies from various industries can use this functionality to ensure compliance with the lease standards. What we need to know about lease accounting. First of all, there are two main lease standards on the market, like IFRS 16 and US GAAP ASC 842. And both of them can be supported by SAP standard solution, like out of the box. So you have everything that you need to configure, like predefined configuration. So you can easily use these standards, and you can even implement contracts and apply both standards to the same contracts in parallel. And up to this, you also can implement and can cover requirements of local GAAP related to the lease accounting. And you also can add this new valuation principle to the same contract that is already evaluated in accordance to IFRS 16 or ISC 842. You can also use this functionality to work with both financial and operating leases. And this is very important thing, because if we are talking about IFRS 16, there is no difference between finance and operating lease. But if we are talking about US GAAP standards, so there is a significant difference in calculation, and the SAP supports both calculation out of the box. You don't need to do anything specific. You just need to perform configuration correctly in the system, and everything will work on the fly. What else we need to highlight here? That there is a very easy integrated with the SAP asset accounting functionality, because most probably, as you know, when we are talking about lease standard, we usually have lease liabilities from one hand and the right of use assets from another hand. And just to be able to handle right of use assets, we need integration with asset accounting. And of course, all these calculations that we have in real estate module are transferred to the asset accounting as the asset values and depreciation values here. What also we need to highlight here, it will be needed for the future explanation of our example of subleasing, is how the contracts are evaluated. When we are talking about lease accounting, we know that the main lease standards can be applied only to the lessee part, because there are no differences in calculations, in valuation, in processing on the lessor side. So it means that in general, only leasing contracts are supposed to be evaluated. When we are talking about lease out contracts, we are on the lessor side, we represent the lessor, so there is no need to perform any evaluation. We can process them as we did it before, for example. But when we are talking about subleasing, it means that, for example, let's say that our company is the primary lessee. Yes, so we rented some building from our landlord lessor, and then we decided to lend a part of such building to another third-party agent here, like business partner or whatever. And in this case, we as a primary lessee then takes a role of sublessor. And in this case, we have two contracts that are included in the same process. From one hand, we have leasing contract between our lessor and the primary lessee, our company. And from another hand, we have a lease out contract between sublessor, our company plays now this role, and the secondary lessee. What we need to do, we need to bear in mind that we also have lease accounting standards, and we need to perform all the calculation according to such standards. As we already know, we will have to evaluate leasing contract. But when we are talking about subleasing, we also need to evaluate lease out contract, because we are working with the same object and we are trying to lend a part of such object, and we need to perform corrections according to the lease accounting standards here. So this is a kind of theoretical part. Now I would like to share with you our process steps that we are going to do today in what we are going to demonstrate you. First of all, as you already got the idea, we will have two contracts, lease in and lease out. And of course, we will start from the very beginning. We will start with the creation of a lease-in contract. We will show how to perform contract evaluation. We will take a look at right of use assets, because it's quite interesting for us. And we will perform postings for the first period of this contract. Then, for the second period, we will switch to the creation of the lease out contract. We will create this contract and we will perform contract evaluation. And Leonid will show and will highlight the main things that need to be considered why you are doing this and how you are doing this. Then, as soon as contract evaluation is completed, we will jump back to the leasing contract and perform adjustments of such contract. We will perform revaluation, because we need to use such adjustments to correct right of use asset value. We will take a look at our right of use asset. You will see how the values are changed. And as a last step, we will perform postings for both contracts for this second period. So this is our plan. And I believe that now we are ready for the demonstration in the system. So, Leonid, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Like as Daria said, my name is Leonid, and I'm going to show you a demo example for a descripted case for subleasing. So, as Daria said, we have two types of contract. First contract, it will be leasing contract, and few parameters of this contract. Term of this contract will be 3+ years. Payments 2,000 euro per month, and interest rate will be 1%. And another contract, it will be lease out contract with such parameters like lease term 2 years and lease payment 100 euro per month. So we are going to create both of these contract, and we will see how it will be in a system, I mean postings and the effect on raw asset. Let's see. Firstly, we need to create leasing contract. So I'm going to start a video of this process. So we are using Fiori application manage contracts. It is necessary to create a new object, and first step, we need to choose a right type of the contract, predefined type. Of course, here could be more contract types, but for our current presentation, we will have only two types of contract, leasing contract and lease out. Currently, we are interested in a leasing type of contract. So after choosing correct document type, contract type, we are creating now this contract. Firstly, we need to populate our business partner. In our case, it will be landlord. It should has a vendor role specific for real estate. So with this partner, we will work for this type of contract. Then we need to populate end and start date of the contract and some mandatory fields like profit center. Also for easy understanding and easy managing of this contract, it is necessary to put here a contract name. Of course, Of course, in business, in real business, it can be different names, but for our case, let's name this contract like a leasing for big shopping mall. Also, we can put here contract date of conclusion and some other parameters which are not very mandatory. Top partners. Here in our scenario, we will have very simple case where we have only one business partner for this contract. That is why probably we can skip this tab because all necessary information already in this contract based on the first tab. But yeah, I can say a little bit more about this tab. We could have in real life more complicated scenarios. Probably we can have as a landlord 2 or more business partners. That is why it makes sense to use this tab for these more complicated scenarios. If you're interested in to see these scenarios, we can prepare this presentation next time. Just let us know if it's really interesting for you. Let's proceed. Tab term. Again, for this scenario, we have only start date and end date of the contract. We could have in the real life much more complicated cases, cases which with auto prolongation of contracts, different scenarios. But yeah, currently we will be not focused on very complicated cases because our focus is on a subleasing process. Again, the same. If you are interested, feel free to ask us. We will prepare demonstration. Object tab. Here we need to create object, rental object for this business case. So we will use here the most simple contract object the name of this will be the same contract object. What is the specific of this type? That it is not this object doesn't have any master data, only master data which exists in this contract. Yeah, it's a specific of contract object. So here we need to populate only name of this contract object and account assignment. Sorry, once again. What I wanted to say more that name of this contract object will be transferred to our raw asset, and we will see this later. So it is necessary to populate name and account assignment. In particular, this case, we will use cost center. Measurements, yeah, again, it's not a focus of current session, but just to let you know that we could have different measurements of the contract. We can create our own measurements and we can use them. Yeah, let's proceed. Posting parameters, tax type, it's a mandatory data for us. Sorry, I need to come back to another contract because it's already without contract, it's the same. So yeah, just to repeat, we are creating in the leasing contract object with name of big shopping mall. We are assigning to this account assignment. It's a cost center, and we are going to populate posting parameters. So it's inbound taxes, tax type, and tax group. And one more mandatory field, it's an organizational assignment where we need to populate a functional area. Then condition tab. Here we need to add a condition to this contract. In our case, it will be basic rent. As I mentioned in the very beginning, we will have for this contract only one condition. It's monthly payments, 2,000 per month, 2,000 euro. So we are showing it to the system via condition, new condition. So what we need to insert here, price, that it's actual rent and start date for this condition. Then valuation parameters, it is necessary to assign valuation rule to this contract. With interest rate 1%, it's according to our requirements. And here one thing that for leasing account, fixed asset object will be created automatically. And let's check how it will be after saving this contract. We could see ID of FIAA object. Yeah, so it's created, master data for this object created automatically. We didn't do anything specifically for it, just created contract. So now it is necessary to calculate all the valuation amounts for this contract. It happens automatically, and here you could see that whole contract value will be 76,000 euro. It's according to our monthly payments and contract term. And present value of raw asset will be a little bit less because we have in our example interest rate, which influence on this amount of the contract. So after saving, we will have everything ready for postings. After that, we can post this contract, and as a result of this posting, we could see effect on a raw asset object. I think amount of 74,000 is familiar for you. You saw it previously on the slide. So this amount after posting transferred to fixed asset model. Let's proceed with creation lease out contract. Again, we are using manage contract theory application. We are creating this object. Here we are using lease out type contract. And a few words about a business partner. As it lease out contract, so this partner will be our customer, will be our lessee. So it's a different idea of business partner. Again, contract start date, end date. This contract will be for 2 years. Again, mandatory, some mandatory fields like profit center. Again, contract name, yeah, up to us. We can name it. In our case, it will be lease out for one small coffee point. And one thing which I need to tell you that we can do here link to our initial contract. So main contract for us, it's a contract which we created before. Partners, the same, terms the same as for leasing contract, and object. Here also we are using contract object just to make this process a little bit more simpler. We need to populate here name, let it be again small coffee point in our big shopping mall. Again, account assignment. In measurements and posting parameters, we are putting here outgoing taxes, tax parameters, and frequency tab. I just want to stop here for a few seconds, and I just want to tell you that this frequency tab help us to make our conditions very flexible. For example, we could have one-time condition. We could have conditions which can be every month, every quarter, every year. We could have conditions which could be posted in advance of period, in the end of period, in the middle of the period. We could have different prorata procedures. For example, if our contract ends somewhere in the middle of the month, we can influence on this process via this frequency engine. Quite flexible. If you are interested, again, the same procedure, let us know that it's interesting topic for you. Organizational assignment, yeah, functional area, again, mandatory field for us. Conditions. Here we are using another condition than in the first case. It will be for lease out condition. See that valid from it's December and unit price of this condition 1,000 euro per month. Again, we need to populate here valuation rule with the same interest rate. And notice please that for this, for lease out contract, we are not having on this screen asset ID, because for lease out contracts, it's not relevant. Let's proceed. Even after saving contract, you don't see this asset ID. Then, based on our condition parameters and valuation parameters, we are calculating automatically all the values which is necessary. And you could see like a total amount of this contract, 25,000 euro, and taking into account interest rate, it's a 24 plus 1,000 euro. This amount will be used for our future steps. Now we need to adjust our leasing contract, because according to standard, it is necessary to adjust value of raw asset. I can refer to the name of this asset. It's a big shopping mall. It should be decreased on this amount. So I'm going to the next step. So just a few words about this presentation. Here we have two tabs. Active tab with lease out contract. We just finished creating this, and on inactive tab we have leasing contract which we need to adjust. So what we want to do, we want to copy this present value of lease out contract and then use this value in our lease-in contract. So copying, activating leasing contract. Then we are going to condition tab with specific, via adding specific condition in the edit mode. We are adjusting this contract. It's a specific statistical condition. We are inserting value of our lease out contract, and valid from will be start date of our lease out contract. So it will be December. Then we need to do some adjustment on valuation parameters tab. As you can see, status of this valuation is not completed. You see this red sign here, but at least we see these conditions that it's visible for our valuation rule. So we need to process this status by adding additional time slot. Time slot will be started from the December. And here you can see that we now have 2 time slots for this contract. Sorry. Yeah, we are here. So on valuation tab, it is necessary to reprocess valuation, not reprocess, recalculate valuation based on our adjustments. And now you could see here that we have 2 lines, and this value of this raw asset should be adjusted on this 24 plus 1,000. So in other words, should be adjusted on the value of lease out contract. After saving, this will be ready for postings. Okay. Going next, it's postings. So now we are going to post both these contracts in December in a new period after adjustments, and let's see how it's happening in real estate module. Yeah, a few words about postings. Of course, we can post massively. We can make postings for all the contracts which we have currently. But for visibility, we decided to show you how to post contracts by contracts, yeah, just to do not mix all the postings from the different contracts. So we are using the same application, menu, extras, and post. Firstly, we need to post valuation. It doesn't matter the order, but in current case, we will start posting from valuation. We need to choose period of postings and update run. Of course, we can simulate like everywhere in SAP. So we see that postings will be done. And now let's go to the second step of the postings. It's a contract postings for leasing contract. Again, changing period. Again, update run and execution. Done. Then let's post lease out. Let's check firstly asset, how it was affected how our raw asset was affected. As you can see, acquisition value changed, and in the transactions you can see both these amounts, amount of correction and initial acquisition value. Then let's post lease out contract. Again, the same application. Here we are starting from the contract posting, the same period, the same update run, and posting. One step, and the second step, it's a valuation posting. As you can notice that for lease out posting, we have little bit less financial documents because this process little bit simpler than lease in. Okay, so we handled subleasing process via creating two types of contracts, lease in, lease out. We noticed that all JL accounts and financial postings were created automatically, and we noticed that raw asset object was updated also automatically. So that's all from our end. Feel free to ask your questions. We are glad to answer them.
Daria, Leonid, thank you so much for this interesting presentation. And right, let's get down to the Q&A part. And question number one is it possible to use rental objects that you created in some follow-up contracts instead of recreating them from scratch?
Okay, I can try to answer. Yeah, thank you for your question. Yes, it's possible. In our scenario, I was not focusing on it. That is why I was using contract objects which are not exist only in the contracts, but a part of it, real estate allows us to have master data for rental object. We could use standard predefined hierarchy. It looks like different, like business entity, buildings, and rental object, like a tree. And of course, we can create these objects, and we can reuse these objects for future contracts, for another contracts. Yeah, but for our case, we were not focused on it. We just tried to make it as simple as possible, just to not lose your attention.
Thank you. And here is another question. In our case, we have some additional costs related to the leasing contract for signing this contract. Can we somehow show them in the contract?
Sorry, maybe I will pick up this answer is yes. We can on the additional expenses, and most probably we need to create examples. We need to create one-time amounts with the specific expenses. The business requirements, we can decide condition into the valuation rule, but in general, it's possible common business cases.
Yeah, there are some technical issues, unfortunately, but I hope that we answered what Daria was saying. Okay, let's move on. So could you please advise who is the target audience of this presentation? As I know, finance lease team only uses this SAP tool.
Let me try to answer. Yeah, target audience can be, as usual, consultants, SAP RE-FX consultants, just to show him that it's not a very complicated scenario for a complicated solution for quite a complicated business scenario. Also, it can be, I think, it can be interesting for main users who is working with this module. Yeah, and so probably like this. So I think for both these teams, it can be interesting.
Thank you. Okay. And while you're generating new questions, we encourage you to join us on like social networks like LinkedIn, Telegram, Spotify, Blue Sky, and of course, we are a community platform via the link in the chat. Besides, don't miss the registration link for another SAP Tech Talk about Agile in SAP, and the link is also available in the meeting chat. Okay. Oh, Leonid, the question for you personally. You mentioned auto prolongation during the creation of leasing card tab term. How does it work?
Okay, yeah, thank you for this question. How it works, we can, so yeah, when we are signing the contract in real life, we could have such options that this contract signed for 3 years, but in case of maybe no issues with this leasing process from business point of view, of course, it can be auto prolonged to the same period of time, maybe 3 times. Yeah, for example, I saw such a conditions. Yeah, of course, on the term tab, we can create this rule, auto prolongation rule, which can be which can automate this process of auto prolongation. Usually, it works like this. Yeah, probably. Yeah, if it's very interesting, yeah, as I said, we can show additionally how it works. I mean, demo live example.
Thank you. Question. One more question. So why was contract object used in leasing card, but not rental object?
Okay, thank you for this question again. Yeah, I tried to explain. So just for making this example much more simpler and to do not waste time on creation these hierarchies of objects for rental object, because rental object requires master data. We need to create it additionally, and then we need to use it in our contract. For contract object, it's much more simple. We just need to choose type of object, and we just need to populate name and account assignment. It's much more simple. And our target wasn't to show you how these complex cases can be. That is why we decided to use contract object. And as I know, it's not very popular type of objects. Yeah, that is why I just wanted to, we just wanted to show such option.
Thanks. Is it possible to make scale higher?
I believe that I mean, just the technical note was not so clear. This is a point for the, I would say, right?
Yeah, probably it's because of our videos has little bit small symbols, but you know, Fiori application has like a different structure of screen. So previously in GUI, button execute was in a left high corner, and it was possible to create videos with much more bigger focus on data which on the screen. But yeah, in Fiori, SAP decided to move this execute button to the right down corner. That is why we wanted to show you that we are not doing anything out of system. So just to have this button visible, that is why we did it like this. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, probably video, you can pause this video and make it bigger, just as a workaround.
Okay. Could you please explain about customizing parameters for lease out conditions, details or specific for posting, flow, derivation of revenues, etc.? Does it involve the area with customer postings?
Okay, yeah, I hope I got, yeah, it's quite a big topic to explain. Yeah, I think it's possible, but of course it's good to know these specifics for postings. Yeah, we could use different, for example, revenue accounts using different condition types. For example, probably it's a partial answer to this question. So yeah, model is quite flexible, so probably we could do, but yeah, it's good to have this business case just to understand what is the target and how to automate it. I think it's possible, and maybe 99% of business cases can be covered by this module via standard solution. Yeah, but for any details, maybe more deep details, probably we need to learn these details before the answer.
Thank you. Oh, one more question to Leonid about auto prolongation. Is it possible to add some rule for payment schedule creation if future payments upon prolongation changes or change?
Okay. Let me try to answer like this. So after the auto prolongation, we need to open this contract, and again we need to add some, not add, maybe adjust some parameters for valuation rule. At least we need to recalculate values for this valuation rule. Because yeah, automatically it will not happen, but we have some tools which can be used and which can be helpful for it. Yeah, but anyway, we need to do something with this contract after auto prolongation. I hope I got this question correctly.
Wow, auto prolongation is pretty popular. I think we need to have another tech talk, because the question is like how to use this function in SAP.
Yeah, thank you for interesting.
Let's think about it.
Yes.
All right. So do we have any other questions? We've got a lot of them, really. Okay. So as far as I can see, there are no questions, and then it means that we would like to thank Daria and Leonid for this amazing presentation and for being able to answer lots of questions. As I have already mentioned, the the webinar recording will be posted on our YouTube channel, and then we will send you a separate link to it. So colleagues, thank you very much for being here, for your participation, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a great day too. Bye.